What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, let's wait for a couple of people to show up. I just wanna. There we go. We got a few people. Okay, so we can get started because I know you gotta leave.
I do. I gotta run.
Hi everybody. I am Sarah. If you're just joining in, I'm here at SWAT Toronto, which is, well, I'm gonna introduce you to Kyle. So Kyle is one of the owners and partners of SWAT. And SWAT Health is, you have how many locations now?
This is our third location.
Third location, and the Toronto location is beautiful. I want to show you real quick. Look at that. Oh, oops, there's my sister. And so I want to reintroduce you to Kyle. Kyle's been on my Instagram before, but it's been a long ass time. And Kyle's been going through some really cool, fun, exciting events with SWAT in the last 2 years. Wait, has it been a year since I met?
Yeah, it's just been 1 year.
It's been a year since we met. So Kyle, why don't you tell them who you are, and then I'm going to ask you a million questions after.
Amazing. So my name is Kyle Ardill. I am a co-founder of SWAT Health. We opened 5 years ago in Port Credit.
Amazing.
And we take a synergistic approach between obviously the training side that you saw and the clinic side. So we do physio, chiro, massage, fascial stretch, and we work synergistically between the clinic and the gym space, which we felt like was a niche that was semi-untapped. Yeah.
And it's hard to combine it. I feel like a lot of people have tried that, to combine the training side, the strength side with the clinic side, but it's hard to find that meld, I think, that's successful business-wise.
Yeah, I think making sure that people leave their egos at the door was definitely one of our biggest challenges to get started. Was especially when people see things their own way, they might have an ego about it, but we know that if everyone works well together here, that gives everyone the best opportunity for success.
And you know what? Like, Kyle's very charismatic and very charming, so I imagine you're able to disarm some of that, defensiveness that people come in. So what I wanted to do today is go over some really cool exercises. So I've trained with Kyle before, and he trained. Why don't you list a couple of really cool people that you train? Like, I love Chloe Wild and things like that.
Yeah, Chloe, my girl. So I mean, having started training professional hockey players 10 years ago, whether it be Brad Boyes, Chris Campoli, or Sean Mathias, any of these guys, or NFL football players. We've just recently broken into the Hollywood, actor game, and working with Zach Levi, the star of Shazam. It's coming out April 5th. Go check it out.
Yes. I love him. I want to meet him. I'm so bummed I haven't.
Yeah, these are individuals who kind of took the whole facility and our synergistic approach and made it grow.
And who else have you guys train here? I think you guys, didn't you have I thought I saw you had Leighton Meester or Adam Brody.
Did you see that?
Yeah, you had it in your store.
Yes, we have definitely had some fairly significant
really cool
actors
people
that they come to Toronto. Obviously, we've got Hollywood North here in Toronto, so we just want to make sure that we're giving the best opportunity for health and wellness that anyone comes to our city.
Yeah, and it's a great spot, like right here in the harborfront, waterfront area. And they have, next time I'm going to introduce you to Dave, and he is the head chiro?
Yeah.
Head chiro here.
And our CEO.
And CEO. And they also do have fascial stretch therapy here too, so making waves.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if we want to get started on movement, or is there anything else you want to
You know what? I think moving things over to our boy Dre here is a prime example of how we work here as a business. If you wanted to come and see me, that's great. I appreciate that. But I'm going to give you over to our movement magician, as I call him, Draeshawn,
Yes.
Who works here half days, and then he is a strength and conditioning coach for the Etobicoke Swim Club, which is actually would be considered our fourth gym, where he works with 200 athletes on a monthly. So
amazing.
Some Olympians. So.
Well, thanks, Kyle. I'm gonna see you soon.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
We'll do another video where I want to showcase how strong this guy is.
Get out of here. I appreciate
Thanks,
it. Enjoy, Dre.
All right, Dre. It's good to have you.
Yes, hi, thank you.
I'm super excited for you to show us some really cool moves today. Do you want to tell us what we're going to demonstrate for us today? Or put me through, because I'm ready.
Yeah. So we're just going to go through a series of mobility exercises. So when I talk about mobility, I like to talk first about maybe creating some passive range of motion before we introduce any active range of motion or capacity. So the first one's very simple. It's just, you may have heard of it before, a cat-cow, or some people call it a cat-camel. And that is just to work through that full range of motion of the spine. The second one we're going to work on is called a swimmer hover. One that I use almost every day with my swimmers, actually, just to make sure that we have that shoulder blade or scapular range of motion and control, as well as those healthy overhead shoulders. That's what we want to go over.
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna get started. I guess you're gonna be on the floor.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have Dre, and I want you guys to, go on the floor and follow along. So he's gonna go through cat camel. Some of you may or may not know this, but he's gonna kind of tell you his cues and his spin on it. So I'm gonna come a little closer.
So with the cat camel, we set up on all fours here. Whenever we're on the ground, we want to make sure that our wrists are set up underneath my shoulders here. So when you set up, you can shift your hips back slightly, just so there isn't as much pressure onto the wrists here. Go super wide in the fingers. You want the middle fingers to be facing forward and parallel with one another. Okay. From here, you're going to stack the shoulders over top and make sure that the knees are directly underneath the hips. I'm going to go ahead and set up myself.
Actually, let's have you.
Okay, cool. Cool. So when we're set up here, the fingers nice and wide, this just plants us into the ground before we even move. Okay. So from here, we're going to think about pushing the ground away and getting our spine to the sky. Okay. As we do that, we're rounding out and tucking our chin. So we're trying to. This is our cat position. Think of like an angry cat, for instance. Okay. We hold this for, I say, like 1 or 2 nice breaths, and then we relax the belly, drop the belly button down to the ground. Nice and slowly moving through full range of motion of that spine, and looking up at the sky. Here we want to make sure that when we're coming up, we don't want to shift back. Okay, we want to keep the pressure over top of our wrists and our hips over top of our knees there. Okay. So this is the first movement I have all my clients do, all my athletes do when they come into the gym, just to make sure that we're getting through that full range of motion of the spine here. The shoulder blades are spreading apart nice and wide. Think of it as turning on a light switch.
And you know what? I agree. I love to do this move as well. I like to do this move as well. This is one that I like. Warming up the spine is really crucial in any of my warm-ups before I exercise, even just to start the day. And I like that you're taking your time and you're spending a little bit 1 to 2 breaths at the top of that stretch and at the bottom of that stretch. So I want you guys, I know a lot of you, especially when you're in yoga, you'll go through it a little bit quick. Here, we're really going to focus on picturing segmentation of the spine and holding that end range on both sides.
Absolutely. So then this one, again, I talked about passive and active range of motion. This one would be considered your passive range of motion. So you're just pushing the ground away. That ground is acting as your feedback, and you're moving through that full range of motion of that spine. And then from here to go into more of an active range of motion, what I would do is look for low back control. So we would now go into what I'd say is it's called a bird dog. All these fancy names today. But from here, we're going to make a fist with our right hand, and then kick our left heel back to the wall. So essentially, we're going to be like a superwoman or a superman in this position, okay? Again, making sure that you're not shifting from the back or the front. You keep your weight stacked over top of your wrist and your knee, and you're thinking nice and long here, okay? So
trying to reach both sides.
Exactly. Reach both sides, nice and long, and then control it on the way back down as well. That's a really good cue, guys, because I see a lot of people getting here, but then they just fall back down to the start, okay? So now after a passive range of motion in a cat-cow, I'll go into this bird dog position to see it. This low back is nice and neutral here. Okay, so again, you're thinking nice and long from the fist to the end of the heel. You're kicking the heel back to the wall. And I normally do 5 to 6 of these per side. And on the last rep, I'll pause for 5 seconds, get a nice couple good breaths in there, and then I'll go back to the initial
This
position.
is one of my favorite exercises or homework to give to my clients after I stretch them, because a huge part of my cueing as well is to ensure that you're not rocking your hips. You want to maintain stability in the pelvis, so you'll see the only thing you'll see that's moving are my limbs. And as I bring it in, I'm not rocking, drifting, hiking my hips side to side. Everything stays nice and stable. Sorry. I'm still a little sick, sorry guys. Everything's nice and stable, so you want to practice maintaining that organized spine, that neutral spine throughout the movement.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to go over?
The last one here will go up the body to those shoulder blades or the scapula.
Sweet.
And it is a very technical movement. So I'll break it down in parts when we set up, okay? So the first, we're gonna lie down on our stomach. And
Do you
then
want
from
me to
here,
do it?
yeah, if you don't mind.
Do you-
Cool.
What's the best way to face this way or side view?
Face the camera, I'd say, yeah.
Guys.
Perfect. So from this position, we're gonna make sure that our glutes are turned on the entire time. So we're squeezing our butt because I don't want us to pull from that low back position. I just want to isolate that upper back, the shoulder blades, okay? So from here, our nose is gonna be slightly off the ground, but we're not gonna look up in front of us, okay? We're trying to keep that upper neck nice and neutral, the upper back nice and neutral. From here, we're gonna place our hands on top of our head. Good, both arms. Start with our elbows relaxed. Good. From here, our shoulder blades are nice and spread apart. Okay. The first move is elbows up to the sky. Good. And then hands above you. So you're gonna reach up above you. Good. You're gonna come around. So you're gonna make a nice big snow angel around here. At half, you're gonna switch your hands. So you're gonna internally rotate. Good. And then you're gonna come all the way around. And at the bottom in this position, you're gonna bend your elbows and come on top of your bum. Good. And then from here, you're gonna relax everything. Relax the shoulders and the elbows, right? You don't wanna pull from that low back, so your nose is just slightly off the ground. It should be able to slide a credit card underneath there, okay? So that's half of one. On the way back, we drive the elbows up to the sky, but we also pull the shoulders back. That was a great cue here, okay? So we're gonna pull the shoulders back and think about into the back pocket, okay? This is setting our shoulder blades back and down. From here, we reach our hands back to the wall behind us. Good, and then we come all the way back around, get to this T position, and then switch our hands. Good, and then above our head, and then on top of our head. Good, and then we relax. Good, that's one rep.
Wow.
Good. So, thank you, that's good. So with this, nice and slow and controlled is the name of the game here. And I usually have my clients go maybe 2 to 3. Okay,
Let me
so.
do 2 to 3 and see if I can remember.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. So
Okay,
it's a
try
very
and cue
technical
me,
movement,
yeah.
right?
Try and cue me.
Yeah, absolutely. Good, so reset, come all the way down. Good, so don't lose this control in the low back here. Don't try to pull from this low back. We just want to isolate just the shoulder blades. Okay, good, perfect. Come around. And then fully relax. Good. Nice work. Good. One more.
I forgot to breathe. Whew. That was hard for me.
Good job. Good, perfect.
That is actually really tiring, especially for not to breathe like I just did. So I tried to breathe for the second one. But that's a lot. You're really turning on that posterior chain, which people often neglect.
Absolutely.
I always find, there are always so many different compensations with my clients, but I find a lot of people pay so much attention to the anterior chain and neglect to balance it out with a strong posterior chain. So what that means is some people have a stronger front body where they're working on flexion core work, a lot of squatting, a lot of chest work, but they're neglecting hamstring work, glute work, low back work, and upper back work as well.
Absolutely.
That was a great one. That's what you do with your swimmers?
That's what I do with all my athletes and all my clients. Yeah. And that's it's actually really good that you brought the breath up, because unless I've addressed the breath previously, which I normally do.
Because everyone's so concentrated on trying to remember the movement.
Right. But unless we've addressed the breath and really worked on those mechanics, I'll tell my clients I don't care when you breathe, because that's the hard part. I just care that you breathe, because we do have the tendency to hold our breath, right? Let alone into this shallow chest breath. We have the tendency to, when things get difficult, when life is stressful, we have a tendency to get to the shallow breath or just hold our breath, right? So again, don't care when you breathe, I just care that you breathe through the movement, so you can kind of release that stress and work through the full range of motion that your body is allowing you to.
And I agree with that, taking baby steps, first getting them into habit of breathing, and then you can start to add on to the breathing mechanics and the techniques. So what I do with my clients is I give them one small thing to focus on, and then they build to eventually get to the optimum position or to optimize their movement. A lot of people are so focused on, their form is awful, but you don't know. I always tell people, don't judge what someone's doing in the gym, because maybe they're focusing on activating their big toe because they haven't been able to do that yet, and they're not yet learning how to activate their glute med.
Right.
So try not to judge people at the gym. I know I have friends who always go like, oh my god, that person's form is poor, but I try not to judge, because they could be on their own recovery journey. I'm hoping they're on their own, guided, proper recovery journey.
Right.
So that's what I want to do. I want to add on to what you just discussed. So once you have your clients already breathing throughout the movement, is there a year?
It's just been 1 year.
It's been a year since we met. So Kyle, why don't you tell them who you are, and then I'm going to ask you a million questions after.
Amazing. So my name is Kyle Ardell. I am a co-founder of SWAT Health. We opened 5 years ago in Port Credit.
Amazing.
And we take a synergistic approach between obviously the training side that you saw and the clinic side. So we do physio, chiro, massage, fascial stretch, and we work synergistically between the clinic and the gym space, which we felt like was a niche that was semi-untapped. Yeah.
And it's hard to combine it. I think a lot of because I reposted it and I saved the video.
Oh, cool.
But we can address. Hi everyone, and we're back. Sorry about that. The connection. This always happens. I think you guys are used to it. My connection always craps out. But we're back, and if you're just joining us, I am here again with Dre, and we maybe go over the 2 exercises we did just before.
Yeah. So we started with the cat camel to open up our passive range of motion in our spine. Then led into bird dog to bring together that passive into more of an active, and hip stability, pelvic control, and low back control into a bird dog. And then we finished off just with a swimmer hover to work our shoulder blades.
My favorite one. So the first 2 you probably already heard of cat camel and bird dog, but what we did, I want you guys to go back and watch the first live video we did. We slowed it down and gave some basic cues that might help improve that movement for you. And then the swimmer hover was insane, so I want you guys to give that a try. I think that one went awesome, especially if you have low back pain. It's because I'm working on the low back pain guide right now. That was insane, and I think I might incorporate that into the program, just because you're not taking it into a back bend or extension, and I like your cue there. It was just to activate the glutes and then to hover and then maintain position in the scapula and spine, which was really cool. So watch that again. Right now, because we got cut off, we're going to talk about how Dre cues breathing mechanics for his clients. And if you didn't hear earlier, he works with a lot of over 200 swimmer athletes, right? Okay. So I'm going to get down on the ground because he's going to go over how to breathe. And you guys know I've had my own types of breathing, and I've incorporated a lot of other breathing techniques. So I always love to learn from other people, so here we go.
So if you want to have your feet this way, actually, and then your feet would be flat on the floor first. Actually, your feet flat, yeah. So when I introduce the breath, I often talk about the whole, kind of like the anatomy of the body and the purpose of the diaphragm.
Yes.
So when I talk to my clients or my athletes, they've all almost heard of belly breathing, right? Well, I tell them to throw that away and to focus more on, or reterm it as, balloon breath, and how a balloon breathes or expands in a 360-degree fashion rather than just one side or the other. So into the anatomy then, if these are, let's say, the bottom of my ribs, and this is the top of my pelvis, your diaphragm is right underneath your ribs here. So when you breathe and your lungs are over top here, your diaphragm goes down and pressurizes at the whole 360 degrees from the anterior core to the lateral core on either side, and then the posterior core in the back as well. So
yeah, just to clarify, and that was a great explanation, because it is like a dome, but it goes 360 all around.
Absolutely.
Right around your core there.
Right.
The top of your core.
So the first drill that I have my clients do is I'll have their legs up at 90 degrees, and then I'll just slide my leg underneath here and ask them to completely relax their legs here. And why I do this is because it sets the pelvis in a neutral position. Okay. And then from here, I'll teach the breath in through the nose and out through a straw. And I'll play around with it. I'll say, okay, out through a big straw, out through a small straw, because out through a small straw, you maintain more tension than if you were just to do, then you've lost all that tension very fast, as opposed to, then I'm maintaining that tension throughout that whole exhale, okay? So what I'm gonna get you to do, Sarah, is put your hands on your, either side of your belly, actually. So right on the outside here. So I want the inside of your crease between your pointer and your thumb to be on either side of your belly here, okay? And then when you take a nice big inhale through the mouth, I want you to breathe into those spaces, okay? And then again, think of expanding a balloon, so 360 degrees in the front and also out to the sides when you're ready.
Oh, it's stuck. So, you know what, I've just been inspired. So you may know that I've been sick for the last 3 weeks, and I've been coughing so much. And as I've been coughing, I've been contracting so violently, and my diaphragm is getting tighter, and my abdomen is getting tighter too, and I can feel it even when I'm stretching. It's just, everything's just pulling. So as we're going through the breathing, and I meditate and breathe, but, normally I just breathe on my bed with my knees bent, maybe a little underneath, but it's obviously a lot easier when I have my legs 90 degrees. And I can feel how much tension there is. Like, just putting your hands in that position so you can get that feedback, you can feel that the expansion is not as optimal.
And I can see visually here that Sarah's stomach is coming up. And
my diaphragm is
yeah.
barely expanding.
And when I don't see this, any movement here, I may put my hand on their stomach and tell them to breathe into my hand. Okay, so I might apply a little bit of pressure here, and then I say, okay, breathe into my hand here. And nice exhale through a straw, right, through your mouth. Good. Yeah.
So this is what I wanted to teach you guys, is practicing these breathing mechanics every day, every week, because it changes depending on, emotion, outside stresses, movement you've been doing or not doing, things that are on your mind. Everything can affect that, things you're eating, so that can make you more stiff. And even right now, I'm having trouble expanding the posterior side, my lower back.
Right.
Like, I can feel this expand slightly, but if you guys are doing it with me, is anyone able to feel their breath and lower back start to push into the ground? That's the sensation you want to feel.
Exactly.
And I like that if you don't have someone to put a little pressure on your diaphragm or your belly, I like to have maybe using at the gym, using even the
That's it. Yeah. And then from this position, again, just like anything, I'll take a very passive movement pattern, and apply it to an active
love it.
control, right? So from here, we'll just get into that dead bug position. So if dead bug position here, we'll go arms overhead, right in front of our face, good, and then our legs are going to be at 90 degrees. Still practicing that same pattern, okay, here. Making sure that our back isn't fully into the ground, because then we start to get into a posterior pelvic tilt. We want a slight space in between our pelvis and our low back, okay? Exactly, neutral spine. Absolutely. So maintaining this position here, what I'll do is I'll actually get my clients to point their toes to their face, and then we'll hold this position. I'll either say for 10 breaths or for 45 seconds, and then I'll just apply some tension to the legs and make sure that they maintain that neutral spine position and the breath, and that we're not resorting to holding our breath, okay? Because that's the first tendency that people have. I might drop one leg. I'll say resist my pull here. Keep the breath going though, don't hold the breath. Good. I may come up here. So I'm just giving Sarah some feedback, or her body some feedback, that she has to resist while maintaining that breath. So now this is in movement here. Well, not necessarily movement because it's static, but good. Under pressure. Now more demand, exactly. Good. And then I'll just relax there.
That was really great, and you're feeling that now we're going into the anterior chain, which is really great. And you want to make sure that you have a balance of both. This, because I've been so sick and I haven't been moving and activating as much, and I've been coughing so much, even just that, and you weren't even pulling, he was just slightly guiding my leg in the other direction. Just that resistance just turned this right on, but I was struggling. I was shaking a little bit. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. So even think about when you're sick. Remember, your body is still going through changes. So getting back to the gym after you've been sick, I'm not going to go straight into a boot camp. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm going to do these exercises, the stuff we've done today. So if you're sick like I am here in Canada or anywhere else that's really cold, I want you to check yourself, maybe do some of these basic exercises. Sorry guys. And reassess, start to assess your body. So always take stock of how you're feeling. You'll remember how you were before you got sick, and then just document the changes that you're going through. So for me, even just doing that exercise, I realized I'm having trouble activating both any of my kinetic chain. You know what I mean? So I'm going to focus on doing some of those exercises, nice and small, practice the breathing, repattern everything, and sync up my breath and movement again, because there's that disconnect that's happening.
Absolutely.
Because you've been sick and your body is just breaking down and all your systems aren't functioning well. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. So those of you who are sick, do the right thing and listen to your body. Okay, so is there anything else that you want to go over?
I think that's it.
Good.
Yeah, that's great.
That was excellent. So if you want to come closer, I guess everybody's back at lunch. But if you guys have any questions, I'm going to tag Dre here in my stories so that you guys can follow him if you have any questions. I'm going to be back here at SWAT for sure, so I can talk to Kyle and Dave and everyone else. But I hope that was really helpful. We did record this session, and we're going to put it on YouTube and IGTV. So we are going to start, actually I already have a YouTube channel, but we're going to actually start putting content there. And we're going to put this on IGTV, so you guys actually have this for as long as IG is around. So I guess we won't get to go through too many of the questions that you guys had posted earlier, but thank you for tuning in. And if you do have questions, just send us a DM. Thank you so much, guys, and we will see you soon. Bye.